Over the last year and a half, Lisa and I have done quite a few videos about fish keeping mistakes and how to avoid them. Well, in today's video, we're going to do that again, but with a little twist. Instead of talking about mistakes, we're going to talk about some of the dumbest things we hear regularly in the hobby. Since this is such an important topic, we decided to bring in a couple of special guests to help us get through these dumb things that fish keepers say. You're not going to want to miss this one. Have you seen the series on YouTube called Tanks of Our Lives? Well, if you haven't, I'll put a card up here. You're going to want to check it out. It's a lot of fun. The hosts of Tanks of Our Lives are Karen and Steve, and in the series, they go through all kinds of different scenarios in fish keeping, and it's usually Steve screwing things up, and Karen has to come in and save the day. Well, we're such big fans of the series, we decided to bring Karen and Steve in here to help us out with this video. So come on in and take over, Steve. Come on, man. So I just look at that little, yeah, at the little screen. Hello? No, the lens. Oh, okay. Hi. No, right here, the lens of the camera. That's where I was looking, dummy. Hey, I'm Steve from Tanks of Our Lives, and what do you want me to say? Just remember what we were talking about earlier? Oh, okay. Well, look, there's a lot of so-called rules in this whole fish keeping thing, and to be honest, I don't know who the idiots are that came up with these rules, because hardly any of them make sense. I'm not one to really follow rules. I pretty much make my own rules, and I happen to know for a fact that it does not matter what size aquarium you put fish in. If you look at that little tag at the fish store and it says the fish can get up to 24 inches, whatever. Not if you put them in a 10-gallon tank, because fish only grow to the size of the tank.
Hey, I'm Karen from Tanks of Our Lives, and I'm the one that has to correct Steve when he says stupid stuff, and well, he said something pretty stupid. So, this whole fish will only grow to the size of the tank thing has been around for as long as people have been keeping fish in glass boxes. I don't know what idiot started this myth, but it's out there. The truth is, they will stop growing. But is that a good thing? When a fish is in an aquarium that's too small, their growth is stunted. This means that they stop growing, but their organs want to keep growing. They don't know to stop, so things get all mixed up in their body. They're basically tortured and in pain for the rest of their life, and their lifespan is significantly shortened. I'll give you the same analogy I've talked about before, and John and Lisa have included many times on the KGTropicals YouTube channel. Think about a Rottweiler in a small crate that's made for a Chihuahua. It's insane.
I've kept all kinds of fish, and I know the rule book says that there's some fish that can't mix with others. Well, I happen to know that this is another BS rule. You want to know how I know that? Because I've been able to keep any fish with any other kind of fish using a simple strategy. All you gotta do is buy them as babies. If you buy them as babies, they'll always get along because they're friends. They grew up together. So it doesn't matter if one gets big and the other stays small. They're not going to have a problem because they're best buddies.
Okay, I gotta be honest. This is a whole new level of dumb. Buying fish as babies and growing them up together means absolutely nothing. Trust me. Think about it. If you buy an Oscar that's like 2 inches and you buy a neon tetra that is a little bit smaller and they grow up together, what do you think's gonna happen? Duh. Well, they'll probably be fine for a little while because they're close to the same size, but when the Oscar starts growing, that tetra is probably gonna end up as food. I've actually seen this before where one of my friends had a peacock bass in with some mbunas, and I was like, are you gonna keep them together forever? My friend was like, well, yeah, they're getting along just fine, so why not? I knew it was gonna happen, so I told my friend, I was like, that peacock bass, it's gonna get pretty huge, but the mbunas aren't. He said, so I said, well, what do you think's gonna happen? And he said, they'll be fine. They'll grow up together and they'll be best friends. I said, okay. Well, when I went to his house 6 months later, guess what? That peacock bass was all by himself. I just looked at my friend and he said, I don't even want to talk about it. Don't buy into this lie. Growing up together means absolutely nothing.
Look, I love my fish. I treat them super special and I do whatever I've got to do to make sure they're happy. I even go to the pet store once a week to buy a batch of feeder goldfish just to give them a special treat. Not only is it a treat for them, but it's a really good thing to help them stay close to nature. They naturally want to chase their food and hunt. It keeps them happy and it keeps them nice and fit. Oh, the things I do for my fish. I'll do anything I've got to do to make sure they're happy. And it's really not a big deal because feeder fish are only like 10 cents a piece.
I don't even know where to start. There are so many things wrong with what that dummy just said. First of all, fish aren't dogs, you idiot. They're not gonna just give you fin and roll over for a treat. Don't be mad at me. I know you think you're giving your fish a treat, but in reality, a fish will eat anything it can fit in its mouth. If it likes it, it'll eat it. If not, you know what? It'll just spit it out. And here we go with the feeder fish. This should be fun. Feeder fish are gross. They're raised in horrible conditions and fed next to nothing until they're big enough to sell in the thousands to pet stores. They've been shown to have very little in the way of nutritional value, and because of the conditions they're raised in, they could potentially be carrying all kinds of diseases. Just understand that whatever that fish is carrying and your fish eats it, it's gonna go right into your special fish, and that's not good. And then there's the whole, I'm gonna give them feeders because they like to hunt and that's what they do in nature. My question to you is why? They're not in nature, and if you do the right thing, they'll never be in nature, so why does it matter if they hone in on their hunting skills? Don't kill the messenger here. Like, if you're trying to give your fish a natural environment, then why are you even keeping them in a glass box? I mean, I'm just saying.
I don't know why I have to keep telling you this over and over and over again. I do absolutely whatever I have to do to make sure my fish are treated right and they're happy. One of the ways I do this is by taking everything out of the tank at least once a month and cleaning everything off thoroughly. I take the decorations out, I take the filter completely apart, I dismantle everything and make sure it's good and clean. And at least every 6 months, I'll totally disinfect everything with bleach.
No! God, please, no! No!
Bleach is a disinfectant. I gotta make sure there's nothing in the tank that could possibly harm my fish. Doing it this way gets everything spotless. Only the best for my babies. And if you're not doing it this way, I feel sorry for your fish.
I know the experienced fish keepers are probably watching and laughing, but some of you are probably watching and are like, so what's wrong with that? Overcleaning is probably the biggest mistake in fish keeping behind overfeeding. The reason why it's a problem is because there's bacteria that grows on all surfaces in your aquarium. This bacteria is what converts harmful ammonia and nitrite into nitrate, which is much less toxic for your fish. As I said, this bacteria grows on decorations and surfaces, so when you pull them all out and you start cleaning really well, then you're gonna lose that bacteria. When you scrub the bacteria off of all these surfaces, there's not enough of it left to counter the ammonia. What does that mean? This means you're gonna go about your business as usual, but your water's gonna start getting gray and murky, and your fish are gonna start gasping for air at the top of the tank. The reason why they're doing this is because since the bacteria is all gone because you cleaned it off, there's no longer anything in the tank to combat the ammonia and convert it to nitrate. High ammonia levels in an aquarium is the equivalent of you being in a room filling up with smoke. You'll start having a hard time breathing, your lungs will start feeling like they're burning, and eventually you'll suffocate. Well, so will your fish. Rather than pulling all of the stuff out and scrubbing it with a disinfectant, fill up a bucket with aquarium water and use that water to clean the items that are dirty. Since your aquarium water is treated, it means it's not going to kill that bacteria and it can go on and just keep doing its job.
I don't know why all these know-it-all fish keepers talk all the time about how you have to do water changes in your aquariums. This is such nonsense because nature's gonna do half the job for you. You don't know what I mean? Well, unless you're an idiot, you know that water naturally evaporates. So when it evaporates in your tank and it gets a little bit low, just take a jug, fill it back up again, and there you go. I don't know about you, but this guy is not sucking on the end of a hose to get a siphon started. No.
I've got great news. That's the last time you have to see Steve. Yay!
You don't have to be so mean.
Excuse me, but you say some really stupid things. Anyway, this is another thing that a lot of fish keepers do. They think, oh, I'm just gonna fill up the water that evaporated from the tank and everything's gonna be okay. While it's true adding water to an aquarium, it does help, but it's not equivalent to a water change. Remember when I talked about the bacteria in your tank that's converting ammonia into nitrate? Well, this is a good thing, but an aquarium that's neglected will start to see nitrate levels build up because there's no bacteria that brings it down like it does with ammonia. Nitrate is much less toxic for your fish, but if the levels get too high, it can still be pretty dangerous. We, the fish keepers, help to maintain lower nitrate levels, and we do this by performing routine maintenance on our aquariums. We take out old nasty water that's full of nitrates and replace it with good clean water. But that's not all. When we're maintaining our aquariums, we're also removing all of the leftover food and fish waste that accumulates in the substrate and the filter. Removing this waste will help the bacteria to keep up. See, doing maintenance helps keep everything balanced. Your water stays clear, everything's good, and your fish is happy and healthy. Hey, Dummy, why are you wearing that stupid shirt? It looks like you got it out of the closet from 5th grade.
I have had it a while. My mom isn't doing my laundry. She's too caught up watching stupid cat videos.
Rude.
Yeah, she's a loser.